We've bought Richard's DB9 to an Aston Martin specialist to see just how much money it's going to take to get it back on the road.
It's going to be a money pit.
Richard Hammond's rally-prepped Aston went through a hell of a time in the Mauritania Grand Tour Special. It tackled sand dunes in sweltering temperatures, overheated more times than Richard could keep track of, and had a roof tent ripped straight off the back of it. We want to get it back running and on the road, so we've brought it to McGurk Performance Cars, the largest Aston Martin dealer in the UK, to get an expert eye on this Grand Tour car and tot up a parts list to get it back in the game. Little did we know just how big an invoice would potentially be coming our way. This is going to be an expensive one.
Maxwell, can you see me up on the ramp?
All right, let's get this done.
Fire in the hole.
All right, we're gonna have to do some manoeuvring here.
No power steering.
Come on, put your back into it. Full left hand up.
Oh, what was that?
That doesn't sound good, but keep going.
Is that the diff?
It's a diff, yeah. You're gonna have to go forward again.
Forward.
Go on.
Steering's a bit heavy.
Put some muscle into it, Mike. Full lock, full lock, full lock.
That's a lot of effort.
At least you're not complaining about it. Right, that's it. Straight back.
That sounds horrific.
It's fine. Keep going. Anyone would have thought that was hard work. Come on, Mike.
I think we need to figure out the power steering on this car.
Everyone, please welcome to the DRIVETRIBE channel a new member to the team, our own in-house mechanic, Maxwell. You will have seen him working on our Alfa Romeo project, and now he's joined DRIVETRIBE. The first port of call, sussing out what's wrong with this Dakar DB9.
Gary, we'd like to get this Aston back out on the road, but I'm imagining there's some issues with it.
Yes,
You've been through it, you've got a sheet of paper there. Take us through.
Just a small list.
Take us through what's wrong with this Aston after battling the desert.
After a quick look, obviously, one of the main issues is it's got no power steering.
Right, so you can actually see there's a leak still going on right now.
Well, there's no fluid in the reservoir, so it's totally lost its fluid.
Okay.
There may be a bit left in the rack, but we need to top up the system and then we need to run it just in case the pumps fail now, because having no fluid in there could cause the pump to fail.
I must say, this Aston with these tyres was quite difficult to manoeuvre because of that.
Yeah.
They were having problems with the power steering overheating, weren't they?
Yeah.
That was one of the issues.
Have you ever heard of a DB9 boiling its power steering?
Not really, but obviously all the sand from the desert might not help.
Yes.
There's a cooler on the front, and if you look at it, it's completely covered in sand and oil.
Okay.
Yeah. The other thing as well, I imagine the modification they've done is not allowing air to go through that.
Right.
Because they've blanked off all of
Yeah,
this.
because normally the air goes through the bumper and through that.
Okay, so power steering's one. I know just by moving it 10 yards here and the temperature going up, there's no coolant.
There's no coolant in the expansion bottle, but obviously we need to top that up and see if it's leaking.
Something amazing about this car is the frame, kind of front to back, that's been put on. The amount of corrosion that's occurred just from that trip is phenomenal.
It looks like 20-year-old steel, doesn't it? It's rough.
It's, would that be an ice blast or a sand blast, ironically?
Probably both.
Yeah, something you clocked earlier, the suspension. This has got some legit stuff going on.
Yeah, it's got some serious suspension there. I have no idea what brand it is, but it's got some major big shocks and reservoirs as well, which is, whenever you've got separate reservoirs, you know it's expensive.
The top and lower arms especially made as well, they're not standard.
Okay, next issue.
Okay, so we've got a real bad noise from mainly the offside rear wheel, but it sounds like it's coming from the diff.
Right.
That's probably one of the worst expensive parts of the car.
So is that what was clacking while we were reversing it on?
When you're reversing.
Sounded expensive.
Yeah. I mean, if it's a diff, it's expensive.
Is there a chance that sound isn't diff? And it's
possible.
Something more docile?
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, it could have a break in the drive shaft.
Okay.
But it sounds more like diff. But we'd need to obviously inspect both.
It's got a pretty functional looking exhaust system. I can't see a catalytic converter.
No, they've been removed.
So in terms of, again, roadworthy, that would need to go back in.
They would need to be put back in, yes.
Okay. I like the heat wrapping though. That's motorsport.
I like the heat wrapping. I like these side pipes, the way they've done it, and they've put this what only looks like asbestos to stop it from melting the bumper.
Oh my God. I would like to get the car running, and to me that first thing is sorting out the coolant issue. So shall we put some water in it?
Yes.
See where it comes out and start from there?
Yep, certainly.
Cool.
A partner that has recently joined the DRIVETRIBE channel is Sell My Classic. The cool thing with that platform is they take your classic or performance car and offer it in a one-day auction to over 1,000 investors, collectors and specialist buyers, making sure you get the best price for your vehicle. It's free to list and you receive 100% of the hammer price, none of that hidden fee rubbish. If you have a cool car that you want to move on to make way for something fresh, these guys can do all the work for you and bag you a great price. So check out sellmyclassic.co.uk in the description below.
I quite like this game.
I think
Where's the coolant going to leak?
I think it's going to just piss out at some point.
Come on,
There's
Aston.
nothing.
Drip, drip, drop. Oh, first drip, or does that just drop straight down?
I didn't see it.
Gary, did you spill some?
Yes, just a little bit.
Gary!
Testing us.
Okay, I put about 3 litres in and it stopped.
Oh, nothing coming out. It's fixed itself. We got a habit of cars fixing themselves, haven't we?
Do you think it's so gummed up with
Yeah.
sand somewhere that it's filled it?
Just made its own gasket.
Sand gasket. Right, let's start her up. Let's get her pumping.
Not impatient at all.
Fire in the hole. Those side pipes. Keep me updated, Maxwell.
Nothing leaking yet. No leaks at all. It's fine.
Maybe Maxwell was right. That sand gasket is actually a thing. I mean, the temperature's going up quite quickly.
The temperature's rising about right.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So Gary wants us to just get the temperature up to normal operating temperature, just to make sure everything's good. There was a coolant level sensor that was one of the ones being cycled, but that seems to have disappeared. So it seems the car overheated, boiled, a lot of water went out with it, and all we've had to do is fill it back up. Fingers crossed. These engines are pretty bulletproof. It survived the overheating and just needed topped up.
Mike! Can you stop shaking sand in my face, please?
Every time you rev, sand shakes itself down. Might screw up Maxwell's hairdo. I don't have that issue. That's us pretty much at operating temperature now. We'll leave it a bit just in case it needs to creep up more, but pretty happy. The DB9 may be salvaged. Don't know about that diff noise though. That is the scary one. So one of the main images from the Grand Tour was Richard having to just constantly battle the power steering. You can just see how gummed up it is there. Nice job finding the actual problem. Like the cooler there was just struggling to get any air. Should we just fill that up and see what happens, like we have to some of the coolant?
I think that's the next step really, to fill it up and see if we get any steering at all.
Okay.
It may be that the pump's damaged. So we'll put some fluid in it and see if we get any assistance back.
Cool. There's nothing in there?
There's
at
nothing
all,
in there, no.
Okay.
We need to start it.
Can you fit in there?
I don't think I can, but I'm going to try because
It's worth it, it's comfy.
it's banter. Let me empty my pockets a little bit. Right. Is it comfy, is it?
Yeah, it's got a decent seat in it. But I think you're about 5 inches too tall.
I'm not going to be able to get... Oh my
You're
God.
in. That's in.
Yeah. First time I've been in an Aston Martin. Ready?
Yeah.
That's a good sign.
What's making that noise?
That's the air scavenging in the system. Because it's got air in there. It's pumping air, not fluid. It's the milk running down.
It's not perfect, but it's better, but it's not great.
As you see, it's all frothing.
Is that good, bad?
It's frothing because of all the air in there. With him operating the steering, it's pushing the air in. What we need to do is let it settle, then start it up again. And then then we'll just check it. Might have a look at the colour of the oil as well.
So Maxwell, did that power steering come straight back to you? What did that feel like?
It's definitely got power steering now. It's not as, it doesn't feel as it should. It feels a little bit stiff, a little bit like clunky, but it definitely has power steering now, which it didn't before.
Okay.
So it's done something.
And Gary, you think there's the potential that the pump's gone wrong?
Yeah, I think because it's been run dry, there's potential that it's probably worn the pump.
Okay.
But there are other things. I mean, we could looking at a steering rack, a worse scenario. But with the suspension being changed as well, all the joints have been changed on the hubs. So I don't know what kind of loads on them compared to a standard,
That's true.
I know the normal DB9.
So it might feel as it should.
It might feel as it should, but
Okay.
I think the next step really is to double check the fluid and also look at the fluid to see if there's any metal contamination in there.
Okay, I think we're good to check the power steering. You good, Maxwell?
Yeah, start her up.
Okay. I really want a DB9 purely because of that.
Give it some luck.
Yep. It feels so much better.
It's not making any noise anymore.
Yeah, it feels good. Feels good.
It's dripping.
What's dripping?
We got a coolant leak.
Coolant or power steering?
A lot of coolant leak.
How bad?
It's dripping.
I knew it.
Let's see where
it's too
it's
good to
coming
be
from.
true.
Put a bit of light.
The sand gasket has failed. Oh! Yep.
Yeah, that's coming from the rat, I think.
So there's like a hole in that plate it's coming out of.
Yeah.
You can see it's pooling. See in there?
Yeah,
oh my God, there's a lot of coolant in there. It's like there's an external reservoir. Maxwell, it's pouring out of there.
Yeah.
So this like subframe going on here, it's literally sitting in that. It's pouring out the radiator.
Let me have a look from the top.
Yeah, it looks like it's coming from the bottom corner of the rad.
There's a pool. There's a pool.
Yeah, I
just
can
in
see
here.
it.
Honestly, if you drove it around, it would all slosh out onto the floor. That's not good.
No.
Yeah, you're right. It's just like bottom right.
Yeah, it's the corner of the rad by the looks of it. I think the rad's
It's just
popped.
pouring out. Add DB9 radiator to the list.
But the power steering's fixed.
Yeah.
Before it was grinding, so the air's come out of it.
It did feel really good. So our two main issues, we needed a new radiator and we need to basically, well, either a new cooler or we unblock it, right? There's like a sort of plate in there. I wonder if we come up with an aftermarket so we keep the plate, but then...
I would put an aftermarket whole cooler in there.
Sure.
Which you can get for fairly cheap.
Yeah, eBay.
eBay, and just it will be literally 2 Jubilee clips and clamp it on.
Okay.
And it'll be slightly larger than the factory one, and it will solve the problem. I wouldn't even bother trying saving that because it's battered.
Okay. So it's a mantelpiece one.
It's a mantelpiece one for sure. That's definitely an Aston mantelpiece Hall of Fame thing.
The other issue
elephant in the room.
is the potentially like writing off of this car. Yeah, I've been chatting with the guys here. If that diff is bad, I'm not going to reveal the number right now, but it's big.
It's a lot of numbers.
We have bought cars, numerous cars,
Yeah.
that would accumulate to less than
I
what
don't
it would
think-
take to sort out that diff.
I don't think I've paid that much for a car before.
I definitely haven't. I definitely haven't. So yeah, we will get to that. But yes, I'm quite happy. That's some archaeology we've done there.
Yeah.
Problem solving.
That is definitely fault finding, problem solving. We know what we need now.
Yeah, just need some money.
Just need some money.
Yeah, just
Richard,
some of that.
get your wallet out, mate.
I'm afraid, Maxwell, that's not how it works. The audience might think that's how it works. It's not how it works. It's not how it works.
So we think we need a new radiator. We're going to have to come back to that. But in the meantime, we're going to go and check out what's wrong with the diff. So, Gary, what's the best way of doing that?
I think just to have a quick look at it, first of all, I think if we run the car up, just to make sure it's not a rotational noise we can hear from underneath. It could be drive shaft, it could be diff.
Okay.
I think if we have a quick look underneath, we'll be able to...
What's the best case scenario?
Best is the drive shaft.
All right.
Worst case is diff.
Right, if you start it up, what we'll do, we'll put it in the air first,
Yep,
and then we'll give you some directions.
beam me up.
We're walking in the air. We're floating in a moonlit sky.
I'm about to do a massive fart in Richard Hammond's Aston Martin.
Right, Mike, start the car up.
in drive.
Can you give us a little bit of revs, Mike?
Yep.
Oh, that's in here, isn't it?
Don't be the diff, don't be the diff, don't be the diff.
Yeah, that's in there.
Yeah.
Just be a Duff CV or a Duff drive shaft. Those are fine. Those are only maybe small 4 figures rather than high or even 5.
I don't like that drive shaft.
Oh yeah.
See the rotation on the drive shaft?
Yeah, it's clonking in and out.
See it clunking?
Yeah.
I'm suspicious the drive shaft is clunking into the...
It is.
Creating a noise.
All right, Mike, stop.
Because obviously the suspension's been changed. The drive shafts are running at a higher angle.
But this one,
Yeah,
is
they normally have a little bit in them, but
that one is quite
it's quite loose.
a lot more, isn't it? Yeah. So we could still be at CV.
It could be at CV joint.
Should we drain it?
You can drain it if you want, yeah.
Maxwell, good news, bad news?
At the moment, it seems as if this drive shaft has a bit of lateral play in it, but we're going to drain it because it might not be the drive shaft.
Drain the diff.
Drain the diff and just see if any glitter comes out of it.
Shall I just stay up here?
Yeah, we'll just leave you up there, mate. There is no glitter in there.
There's something in there, but it's not excessive. At this point, it looks like a drive shaft failure.
It's looking like a drive shaft failure. This is good news. So our bung here has a magnetic end and there are no metal particles on there. That's exactly what that's designed to do, is catch any metal particles. It hasn't done. So that means we are probably all right. Mike?
Hello?
It's looking like it's good news, mate.
Oh, let me see it.
I think it's going to be a drive shaft job. Our oil is not glittery.
Oh, yes.
So
Okay.
I think we're in the money.
Diff is intact,
Yeah.
so that ridiculous bill is no more.
Slightly less ridiculous.
Slightly less ridiculous. Can someone please look up how much a CV/drive shaft is on an Aston Martin DB9? There's a chance it's either a Ford or a Volvo part.
Yeah, but it'll
So
still
it
be
could be nothing.
It'll still be £2.5 grand.
Okay.
Because it will say Aston Martin
Aston tax.
on the sticker of the Volvo.
There are genuinely numerous part numbers on this that will match my Mondeo.
It's not a Mondeo, Mike.
It's basically a V12 Mondeo.
Okay, and my car's basically a GTR.
Gary, are V12 Astons basically V12 Mondeos?
No.
Okay.
Our current plans are to film with the DB9 off-road and take it to shows so you guys can see it. That means it doesn't need to be road legal, but theoretically, how much would it cost to get Richard's car through a UK MOT? Well, it would need a new windscreen, rear window, a rollover bar, a front number plate, and a change to the front crash structure. That chunky framing at the front is almost certainly illegal. Airbag reinstallations, 2 cats, repairs to the electric seats so they can move, a full underside restoration to get rid of all the corrosion, and the other things that we found today. A new radiator, power steering cooler, rear drive shaft, or maybe a full diff repair. Worst case scenario, totting up all of those bits, it would cost in the region of £25,000 to get this DB9 back legal on the road in the UK. Obviously a chunk of that is the diff, but you could buy another whole high mileage DB9 for that.
The parts list to get this car back driving, which is all we want to do, minus labour, because we've got this man, full lead China spec. So a drive shaft, if it's not the diff,
Yeah,
£900.
bargain.
Diff fluid,
Yeah,
£200, we'll get some liquid moly in it.
cool.
Radiator, £700. And then a power steering cooler, £200.
Okay, so
That means in total, to get this back driving, instead of costing in the 20s, it will cost £2,000 theoretically.
that's assuming the diff hasn't got any problems. Otherwise, that's £12,000.
Yes, that is it. If the diff is the issue, which hopefully it's not, it's just a drive shaft, it could add 12 grand to the bill. So it will either be £2,000 or £14,000.
That's a good ballpark figure to work from.
Stay tuned to see what it'll be. Aston Martin.